Welcome to Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. In 2020, British race fans celebrated the 70th anniversary of the British Grand Prix. Mansell, Hamilton, Clark and many more legends have been made at this former World War II airfield. But who will prevail today in the Northamptonshire countryside? It's time for Grand Prix Legends live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Peter Mackay and I'm privileged to be joined in the booth by the better half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes there's our director Sean Ambrose using camera angles perfected by Dougie Beard. Now Silverstone is a fast and flowing circuit and here is our Global Sim Racing channel track guide to tell you a bit more about it.
Welcome to Silverstone. Most famously known for being the first circuit to host a round of Formula One, this place has since become synonymous with British motorsports. Hosting everything from sports cars to touring cars to open wheels and even motorcycles, it's a track that fits a wide variety of vehicles. With 5 different layouts to choose from, you've got a little something for any level of racing. The longest of those layouts boasts 17 turns over more than 3 miles or 5 kilometers, so it can take a bit to get around it even in higher powered machinery. Its main characteristics are the long straights, swift corners, and general lack of elevation change. Its most famous set of turns is definitely the Maggots-Beckett sequence, in which anything with high downforce finds itself challenged with the rapid changes of direction. While there is a fair bit of paved runoff and quick corners like Copse and Stowe, the time lost from going off can be costly. There's a few turns with opportunities for overtaking, including Vale, Abbey, and Priory, but in cars with less horsepower, expect the slipstream to be where many attempt to get by. The Hangar Straight is perhaps the most notorious for draft battles to erupt. All in all, this versatile racetrack located just northwest of London provides both history in its roots and action on the tarmac. The huge number of British fans that typically attend events are seldom left wanting.
So there you are, a little bit more about this gem of the British motor racing scene. Now, Ryan, it's been a varied season so far. We've gone to all kinds of different tracks here in the Grand Prix Legends series, but what have the drivers got against them today here at Silverstone?
Yeah, the challenge facing these drivers today at Silverstone is going to be it's kind of a mixture of tracks with a mixture of a track with a mixture of corners. You've got high speed, you've got slow speed corners, you've got medium speed corners, you've got twisty corners and twisty sections, and so it's a bit of a challenge for these cars, especially the Lotus 49. With it's basically not got any downforce, and the car it's a bit of a handful. It'll be a handful around here as well. And the track was opened in basically hosted its first Grand Prix in 1950, and from then on it's pretty much hosted the British Grand Prix every year. And it's such a fantastic track. The BTCC's visited here, the World Superbikes, British GT, Britcar, you name it, it's been here. And today around this fantastic 3.142 mile track, I think it's going to be a great race, and patience is going to be the name of the game.
It certainly will be. Let's have a look at the championship points and how they stand heading into this round here today at Silverstone. Mick Claridge, well, he hasn't attended every round, but every race he has competed in, he has won, and he holds a 20-point advantage from Rob Olenek from the United States. Ovi Trengrade is sitting in 3rd place at the moment, 74 points further back, so a bit of work to do for Ovi. Topi Kortenemi is 4th, and Bill Tyler sitting in 5th.
Yep, and then the F2 Championship at the moment, it's currently been led by Andre Schumacher leading it for most of the season so far, but surprise, Chris Henler, another driver from Germany, is leading the championship 2 points in front of Andre, but John Olsen from the United States rounds out the top 3, 32 points further back, with Francis Emmanuel Pereira in 4th, and round out the top 5 is Finland's Jani Lehmann, who's been coming into a bit of form recently and was really on the pace at Long Beach last week, so don't be surprised if you see him up there come today.
Absolutely. And finally, let's look at the Nations Cup. United Kingdom leading by just 5 points from the United States, so very, very close in that championship. Finland are in 3rd, Germany in 4th, and Norway rounding out the top 5. So the drivers are out in qualifying just now, laying down their hot laps. They have 2 flying laps here in the Grand Prix Legends Series, and we'll see what they can do. As we said, round 8 of 12, so just 5 races remaining in this championship. Today we will run 20 laps of this historic layout, so the pre-2010 layout here at Silverstone, and as always here in the Grand Prix Legends Series, a completely open setup. You can dial this car in however you wish, but with this being very much a community-based series and very much a friendly paddock, you can tap up all the best drivers and ask them for setup information, and they will be delighted to help you as well. And Ryan, with this car, it's obviously it's a Grand Prix machine of the 1960s. Even in those days, the cars had a lot of adjustments, so knowing how to set them up is critical.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're looking at McLaren's at the moment in the middle of his qualifying lap. That's the thing with this car as well. When I done some laps with it ages ago, there's not really much to set up in the car, but you can still do some adjustments during the race, like anti-roll bars for the front and rear, depending on how the car feels. So the drivers have got that thing at the handy, if you like. But at the moment, McLaren just absolutely wringing the neck out of this car at the moment, heading into the final sector, and he's pretty much he's not made every round like you mentioned, Peter, but every time he's made it, he's been right up there. And last week at Long Beach, he pretty much took a dominant win, and I wouldn't be surprised if he takes another win here today. But that would be, can he do that? Wait and see.
Well, we will be finding out in not too short amount of time as we see McLaren coming along. We're going to see what he can do on his first flying lap, a 138.569. That will be quicker than Topi Cortinelli. Ovi Trengrade, a 139.819. So not Ovi's best there, and I actually don't know if that lap counted. No, I don't think it did. So, of course, here at Silverstone, the track limits are pretty fiercely enforced. So if the driver steps over the track limits, the iRacing system will administer an off-track penalty, and in qualifying, that means your lap is invalidated. So the drivers are really going to be careful for that today, because with only 2 flying laps, 2 mistakes, and you're starting from the very back of the pack, which, Ryan, is in this series very, very hard to make up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing with this series as well. There's so many good drivers, not just at the front but in the midfield as well. Getting by people if you start at the back is so difficult, and it's just patience is the name of the game, and you can't do anything too silly, especially with such a big turnout of cars today around this Silverstone track.
Indeed, we're looking at Antonio Reis running the number 8 today. That means he is the 8th seed in his iRating ranking. So the top seed today is Mick Claridge, so the man with the highest iRating based on results in official series. So let's get Antonio over the line, sweeping through to take the finish line here. 141.375 does not improve. What can Chris Murakami do? 142.335 for Chris. Topi Cortinelli, 139.182 for him. So they're coming thick and fast over the line now. Dave Price looks he can't do any better than 5th. So Gary Teal over the line, 139.709 for him. He does not improve on that. So at the moment, Mick Claridge leading by just 53 thousandths of a second in pole from Topi Cortinelli. Ovi Trengrade in 3rd, Rob Wollenick in 5th. What can Emmanuel Pereira do in the flying fruit pastel ice lolly? Didn't count, so that's they're going to have a few drivers starting from the back here. Good to see Roman Pawlowski back again, and good to see some Cosworth DFV cam back again, riding on board of this beautiful motor. There we go. We've even got to Cosworth DFV cam before the race starts. We can't help ourselves here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We love classic motorsport here, of course, at 12 o'clock Eastern today, 12 p.m. Eastern. We have the Camel GT series with Nissan GTP cars and Audi GTO cars at Belle Isle at Detroit, and we also have the Lotus 79 series Sundays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern every week. Clap. We love it here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Let's get John Van Dorn over the line here. What can he do? He does not improve. So relatively stagnant here in qualifying right now. No drivers able to really advance their times much. So McLaren is looking set to be on pole. Obi Trengrade's backed out of his lap as well. So looks like we're more or less done. Apart from Hideki Kavisto, can he improve? He improves his time considerably and moves up the pack a little. Up to 22nd position for Hideki. So it looks like we are pretty much done here in qualifying, so we will be transferring through to the grid very soon. As we say here at the Global Sim Racing channel, we pride ourselves in our vintage racing coverage. If you're watching this right now, we'd like to assume that's the sort of content that's up your alley. So keep an eye out, because we'll have an announcement coming up very soon. A special event will be happening next Friday that we're sure you won't want to miss. A formal announcement will be coming on Monday. So do be sure to check out the Global Sim Racing channel social media pages for more information. We're very, very exciting indeed. Looks like it's time to check out the grid for this 8th round of the Grand Prix Legends series here. On pole position will be Mick Claridge with a 138.568, with Topi Kortenemi just missing out on that pole position, but will start from the front row. Row 2 sees Ovi Trengrade and André Schumacher, who's had a lot of pace in practice during the week. Row 3 sees Rob Olenek and Dave Price. Row 4 will be Gary Teal and Bill Tyler, and Antonio Rees and John Olsen round out row 5.
Yep, starting on 11th is Gwendolyn Road. Alongside him is Finland's Jani Lehmann in 12th, with John Van Dorn in 13th, with Will McDonald in 14th, Terry Worth in 15th, with alongside him Robert Plumley and Chris Henlett in 17th, Dave Colin in 18th, Kenneth Carlson in 19th, and rounding out the 20 is Philippe Urquhart.
Starting 21st on the grid will be Randy Hoff, with Hideki Kavisto starting beside him on the 11th row. Row 12 sees Matthew Maudsley and Michael Griesinger. Row 13 is Chris Murakami and Donald Peake. Row 14 is Eugenie Massa and Roland Wallbank. And row 15, Andres Bruno and Andrew Egg.
31st is Herbert Prince, and 32nd is Gary Anderson. And then the drivers that did not set a time or got off tracks during the laps was Robin Papslowski at 33rd, with Manuel Pereira at 34th, Hickorysto 35th, Robert Reynolds at 36th, Jeff Mortimer 37th, 38th is Skip Carey, and we're just about to get underway.
Lights are up and we're ready to go here at the home of British motorsport, and it's the Briton himself. Mick Claridge leaped off the line, and look at them all sweeping underneath the Abbey National Bridge down towards turn 1, and Mick Claridge just about holds on to the lead now. We've seen this before, Ryan. If you let him get away in that yellow and black machine, he really cannot be interrupted from his rhythm, so you've got to get in there and get on the case early.
Yeah, absolutely. As they're coming through Maggots and Beckett's now, and just about to head onto the back straight now. Yeah, absolutely right. Mick Claridge's just got a great start off the line, and Ovi Trengrade can't afford to let him get away. Otherwise, like you say, Peter, Mick Claridge just gets into the zone and he just can't be interrupted, and he just starts pulling away. But at the moment, it looks like everyone has managed to make it through the first lap so far relatively clean, as it looks like Bill Tower is under attack, I think.
Yeah, indeed, but good start indeed from Ovi Trengrade there, up there in second position right now, with Rob Olenek. He's dropped back to 4th. Not a good start for André Schumacher from the second row of the grid. He's really dropped back in that Tyrrell painted machine. But I have to say, Ovi Trengrade, he is the man on the move. He's right on the case of Mick Claridge, and we know that Ovi likes a bit of a scrap, so you've got to think, Ryan, that he'll be looking to make this move as soon as he possibly can, if he can.
Yeah, quite possible. He's one of those people, if he sees an opportunity and he gets a run on someone, he'll absolutely take it. But someone's had a big one.
Oh my word, that's a big crash. We will come back to a replay if we can. Okay, let's get a look at this replay then and see what on earth happened in that big smash. A number of cars tumbling around. Field coming towards the end of lap 1. Let's see what happened there. Looking at the 6 car. going around Luffield, I think it was. So, okay, so Andrew Schumacher's involved there as well. Bill Tyler and Dave Price, sorry. Oh, so it's Bill Tyler has a mistake and crashes into Dave Price, and that puts Dave Price on his lid, and causes a bit of a chain reaction there as well, Ryan. So two of our front runners, Dave Price and Bill Tyler, out before we're even got going.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just unfortunate, but back up at the front, looking at the battle for the lead still, and Dolby Traingrid is absolutely harassing Mick Claridge, and he's not letting him get away that easy. And I think it always seems to be the case with Mick. He seems to maybe just struggle a little bit with in the early stages. Maybe his tyre pressure is not suiting the track temperatures, but as the race goes on, he just seems to get into his element.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We don't see him harassed very often, but maybe today is the day where Dolby Traingrid can really take the fight over the whole race distance to Mick Claridge. Of course, Mick has got a 100% record in the races so far. He's attended 5 of the 7 races so far and won them all. So can he keep that 100% record going? Dolby Traingrid's going to try and do something about it. Of course, Dolby Traingrid has had a little bit of an up and down season. He's had pace all season, but not quite always got the results. So really needs to catch up some points and quick. So this is the battle for 13th position here with Hideki Kavisto in the 20 car. Roman Pawlowski in there as well. Yes, so Roman Pawlowski made an excellent start. Remember, he started outside the top 30, right? He's up to 14th already.
Yeah, just absolutely. We were talking about it's so difficult to pass around here, but someone's had an incident.
Oh no. Oh, we've got somebody pointing the wrong way. Goodness me, and all the drivers doing a great job to avoid that. So that's the 26 car of McDonald had an issue there. Understatement of the day from me there. And just gets a little bit, just really unfortunate. Will McDonald gets onto the dirt on the exit of the corner, flicks around, and I'm not sure which car that was that he contacted with. Did you spot it, Ryan?
I think, judging by the car in the pits, the 24 car, I think it was Philippe Urquhart.
Okay. Philippe Urquhart then, hitting problems. Really, really unfortunate. It can happen. Of course, it's so fast through that part of the circuit coming down towards Maggots and Beckett's that you can't really change your line, especially in these cars. So if there's a car across the road, often there is not a great deal you can do. As they come around Brooklands, just underneath the balcony of the British Racing Drivers Club. Good place. You'll see lots of tweed jackets and champagne flutes in there. Good hospitality, I believe, in the British Racing Drivers Club, especially when it's Grand Prix day. Riding on board with Dolby Traingrid, and you look at how busy he is on the wheel there, Ryan. Well, he's pushing because he just sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:38.615. But lots of little corrections on the wheel just shows you just how much of a handful these cars are. Really getting really frisky now with Mick Claridge. There's no passing place really there at Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, but showing a wheel and showing that he's not going to be content to sit where he is.
Absolutely not, and Mick Claridge made a little bit of a mistake on the exit of Corps as well, and they had to correct the car, and it gave Ovi a run as well, or a chance to get a run, but at the moment Ovi just can't get by. I think it looks like Torpy as well, or Torpy Cortinemi behind as well, is having a battle with Rob Olenek for 3rd place.
Yeah, of course, Rob Olenek really in the fight for the championship with Mick Claridge, but a fourth place finish at this point would not do. She'll be desperately trying to get past Toby Cortinemi, and here he goes then. Oh dear me. He had a look into the old section. Now this particular part of the circuit not there anymore, or not in use anymore I should say, as he swoops around and nearly loses it there, and just has a little nudge. Can he get by? No, as they come through Brooklands and into Luffield, and Cortinemi with some really good defensive driving there, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely is, and Rob Olenek, I think he just got caught out by the amount of speed that he could carry behind Toppy, and just had to run wide onto the gas a little bit, but managed to keep it together, and I think at the moment he's quicker than Toppy, but it's just a matter of getting by. But Toppy as well, doing a great defensive job.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you can see in the really quick parts of the circuit how much little corrections the drivers have to make to keep these cars on the boil, to keep them singing. They move around a lot, they slide a lot, and you can let them slide to a point, but you don't want to let them get too loose, because then you are just scrubbing off too much time. 5 laps down, quarter distance here at Silverstone as they blast down the hangar straight. So we're now going to have a wee look here at the battle for. We are looking at the battle for 8th position. Gwendolyn Old, good start for Gwendolyn in the 11 car. Started just outside of the top 10, so making good progress there. Terry Worth in the Classic Team Lotus livery, the 21 car there, right behind Gwendolyn in the very nice sort of turquoise colour car. I like that, that's nice.
Yeah, I like it as well as they're coming through this left and right section now, and it's great battle between these guys with Gwendolyn, Terry, Chris, and in the background as well, we've got Roman Pawlowski. So Pawlowski, after starting 33rd as well, he's up into just about the top 10.
Absolutely exceptional, and still, I mean, considering he started that far back, just 20 seconds off the leader. So how far can Roman Pawlowski go through in that number 7 machine? And of course, Roman, I have to say, I love Roman's livery that he has on his Audi 90 GTO that he runs in Camel GT with the Classic Team Lotus colours on it. It just works, it looks fantastic. So Roman, one of our real ambassadors for the classic racing scene here on the iRacing simulator. You have lots of guys go, I want to drive the Dallara prototype or the Lambo GT3 or the Dallara IR01, but here on GSRC we've got a real soft spot for the classic cars as well. The Lotus 49, Lotus 79 and the Camel GT Classic IMSA machines as well. Looking back at Topi Cortinemi, he's got problems, right?
Yeah, he's under attack from Rob Olinick. He tries to keep it on the outside. Can he carry that momentum and try and hold the inside line for... Oh, he's so close to losing it there. And Rob Olinick manages to gain that position and make it on the outside. Fantastic move.
Round the outside at Stowe, there you go. That's an absolute cracker move of the day for me so far. Whoa! From Rob Olinick, giving it a big load of oversteer there on the exit of the corner. Oh, but when this Cosworth DFV engine lights up, it lights up big time. It is nearly 400 horsepower in a car that weighs about the same as a Caterham 7. So it's fast, this machine. But of course, this was the first ever iteration of the Cosworth DFV engine, which found its way into so many different racing cars for over 15 years at the top of the sport. And this was, when it came out, it was just game-changing for Grand Prix racing as well. There's another little wiggle there. I don't think there's ever a moment, Ryan, where these cars are calm. They're always twitching and wiggling around.
Yeah, absolutely. As they head up to Magus and Beckett's now, but the battle for P13 is still going on at the moment with Hagit and Fabrice. Whoa!
Dear me, I thought that Pereira was going right around the karting line there, trying to move on Hideki Kavisto, but Kavisto with the probably preferred line defending quite comfortably. Oh, somebody straight on into the wall. The final corner, that car is gone.
Oh, that was Dave Colin.
I think it might have been a hardware failure because it was just straight on. No, just loses it. Oh my goodness me. Loses it on the way around, and that's normally a pretty easy corner in most race cars, Ryan, but this is not your normal race car. It just shows you that every single corner you have to be right on top of the car.
Yeah, absolutely, and Dave Cohen just put in the chat that it was the wrong gear he took, so it looks like he might have shifted down into a lower gear, and unfortunately it's just snapped the rear end and made him go into the wall. But looking back at the battle for 13th position at the moment between Clavisto, Pereira and Carlson, and Pereira is under attack now.
Yep, he is. Pereira not quite able to defend there, so loses another spot. Cavisto a little bit further up the road, and Carlson goes by in the 32 car. Carlson running very, very well, running the 32, which means he is the 32nd ranked driver in the field. He's up into 14th. So, racing is, for me, Ryan, is a lot about beating your personal best as well. What a save there. That could have been a lot worse. But as I was saying, racing can be as much about a personal best as beating your competition. And to be running as high up the field in such a strong field as this, Ryan, it's mighty impressive here from Carlson.
Yeah, it's absolutely. He's doing a good job at the moment, and that's fine with these races as well. Like for me, anyway, strength of field races, I don't really look at the strength of field. But the battle for diverting away from that, we're looking back at the lead between Claridge and Trengade, and Claridge is still under attack from Trengade, and I was expecting Claridge just to pull away once he got in the zone, but he's up. Trengade is absolutely not leaving him alone.
No, I mean, you've got to think for Ovi Trengade, for Rob Olenick, for these guys, they've watched Mick Claridge turn up and win every race he's competed in, and that's really got to be starting to grate. These guys come here to race and they come here to win, and if you see the same driver winning all the time, it is just going to get frustrating. So you've got to think Ovi Trengade is going to throw everything he possibly can to go for this win. I feel this is going to be there's a top step or fence, I think, here for Ovi Trengade. But of course, Mick Claridge just never seems to make a mistake, Ryan. It's just uncanny in a car which is so hard to run consistent laps in and so hard to master. Mick just seems to drive it like it's a Jetta. I like that analogy. That's a good one. He's one of those people. He's been racing this car for so long that it's just pretty much second nature to him, and headed through Backens and Beckett's, and they've got a back marker up ahead as well as the battle between Hideki, Cogisto and Carlson's going on at the moment as well. Actually, they've got a bit of a pack forming up. They do, yeah, and Carlson just got by Covisto there, but Covisto looping it around the outside at Luffield as they head down towards the start-finish line again, and Covisto gets a little bit hung out to dry, and through goes Pereira. And we do have a real pack forming here. Carlson at the front, followed by Pereira, Risto in there, Risto and Covisto. Have you been in an accident? Call Risto and Covisto now for a no-fault claim.
I like that one.
Let's hope they won't be in an accident. They won't need Risto and Covisto. But Kenneth Carlton, his charge carries on in the 32 car in that white and blue machine. You see, really working here with some of the series regulars. Now, Ryan, is my memory serving me correct that there was a very famous Swedish rally driver called Kenneth Carlson? Whoa!
Is it Emmanuel Pereira just locked up in the background?
Yeah, Pereira, big lock up there. All I can say, folks, it's a good job that our producer's voice isn't coming through here on the broadcast. That's all I can say. Goodness me, that caught all of attention. Let's see here. Oh, now I think Pereira gets very caught out. There's a car sort of dawdling really on the racing line. Now, who was that? Who's going very, very slow? But if you're going to go slow, don't do it on the racing line. Now, did you see who that was, Ryan?
I'm not sure. I never got a chance to see who it was that was being lapped.
I think it... No, my apologies. I think it was maybe... It's hard to say. We won't speculate if we don't know, but there was a car going slow there on the racing line. I wonder if... Maybe. Never mind. Well, we'll see here Gwendolyn Old up into 9th position, racing with Terry Worth. Terry's been behind Gwendolyn for most of the race, and Chris Hengler in the 23 car, he's had a bit of argy-bargy with somebody because he's running what looks a little bit like if Lotus made a Whelen Tour modified.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he might have run into the back of someone, or maybe clipped the wall, but. Yeah, Chris Henley is still having a great race, and that nose, even though he's got that nose damage, it doesn't seem to be hampering him too much.
No, it does not, which is quite useful. It's certainly getting excellent cooling, that's for sure. That'll certainly be helpful. His toes might be getting cold now in a crisp February day here at Silverstone without the nose cone. But we've got a problem here for Eugenie Master. Okay. So the attrition rate actually relatively high today, Ryan.
Yeah, that's the thing. We had some incidents in the early stage of the race, and some other people have been having incidents along the way further back in the field. But it's just sometimes that's the nature of Silverstone. If you make a mistake around here, it can die. But, we're riding on board with Chris Murakami as well. Battle for, it looks like he's in a bit of a battle anyway. It looks like P13.
Yeah, but it's been a relatively sitting in 16th right now. A relatively quiet day for Chris Murakami. It's been a good season so far, hasn't it, Ryan? He's put together some good finishes, and actually he's flirted with the top 5 in the championship, in the F1 championship, which is quite good. And Ovi Tringared has had a big incident here, coming down the hangar straight towards Stowe. Blows his engine. Now, was that a lock-up, or did he blow his engine, or both?
I'm thinking, I'm wondering if he's went to downshift and he's shifted down into the wrong gear.
Well, it certainly looked like he did downshift early, because it just jumped on him straight away. Well, we did say that Ovi would be pushing, and there's a great example of it. Now, Mick Claridge, I suspect, Ryan, he will be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief. But, well, that would be what a normal racer would do. But Mick Claridge is no ordinary racer. He's probably thinking, I was quite enjoying that dust up there.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think, you know what Mick's like, even though if he's got a bit of breathing space, he'll still push the car to basically over to the edge and just basically a hot lap right till the end of the race. And it's just a normal thing for Mick Claridge. And as the battle of the P14 is still going on at the moment with it looks like Pekka Risto.
Stevie me, yeah. Chris Murakami under big pressure here from Pekka Risto, and we know that Chris Murakami is he's a hard racer. They don't call him Kamikaze Murakami for no reason, and you can see that's reflected in his
in contact.
Yes. Oh dear, oh dear. Chris Murakami will be he'll be rather irked by that one, Ryan, perhaps.
Well, Chris Murakami likes to do kamikaze things sometimes, and I think, what's that phrase? What goes around comes around.
Possibly, yep. Well, with of course the here on these Lotus 49 machines, the very thin exhaust pipes poke out quite far from the back of the car, and of course you've got the big nose cone at the front. That was very much what we've known now as the COVID test, which is the the exhaust pipe up the nose. That was what that was. Oh dear me. So Hideki Kavisto then in 14th place in the 20 car. That beautiful red, blue and white and colour scheme. I have to say that looks very, very nice indeed. I'm not sure about the bogey coloured overalls of Robert Plumley though.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, and I just noticed that myself. It's a bit, I guess it's kind of one of those things, each to their own and all that, but it kind of looks like someone just sneezed a bogey out and it's just landed on the car.
Double scotch on a Saturday afternoon here, folks. This is the level we have. Robert Plumley there put a lot of pressure on Kavisto. Kavisto often go very, very defensive as they come into Brooklands. And it really does kind of accordion through there, doesn't it, Ryan? It can really close up, and I think that's what happened with Murakami there as well. Just sometimes the closing speed can be a little bit tricky to manage, but never mind. 8 laps to go here. Mick Claridge leads by 5.7 seconds, and Rob Olenek, well, we know that he's in that battle for the championship with Mick Claridge, so I would think he'll be very, very happy about getting that gimme from Ovi Tringared to get a few more championship points.
Yeah, absolutely, but that's the thing as well. Rob Olenek, he's got by Toppy Courtney ages ago, but credit to Toppy, he's managing to keep up with Rob, and you never know. He might be just planning what he's going to do in the closing stages, and maybe try and get close and try and make a move and regain that second place.
Indeed, yep, he's Corton Emmy is the danger man there for Rob Olenek, but what's interesting is we've kind of seen a bit of a theme so far this season, Ryan, where the podium runners or the front group have really stretched themselves quite considerably. There always seems to be a cast of 2 or 3 drivers, possibly 4, who just are on that another level entirely. You look at Andrew Schumacher, who's been really quick early in the week but got off to a very slow start in this race, and that's really punished him. He's 14 seconds behind Cortinemi in third.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just talking about that, but Andrew Schumacher as well. He's in 4th place, but he's got Bill Tyler, who managed to remarkably come back from that incident on lap 1, come back up into 5th position, and right behind him he's got Antonio Maurice, so we've got a 3-way battle for 4th position at the moment.
That is miraculous that Bill Tyler is even still driving, let alone running in a very strong position in 5th place, because that was a big hit that he had with Dave Price. So just got away with it. Sometimes you just get the bump in the right place and you can carry on. But Bill Tyler, I think, all things considered, he'll be quite happy to be running here in the top 5 as things stand. Now, update on Roman Pawlowski, the hard charger for me, got to be driver of the day so far, Ryan. Roman Pawlowski in 7th place after coming from the wrong end of the top 30. 33rd to 7th so far. Absolutely exceptional.
That is, and I would love to know what he's put in his zero this morning to get through the field so quickly.
Scotch.
But yeah, double Scots basically. But he's managed to get up into 7th place in the top 10, and I have to agree with you, Peter. He's pretty much the driver of the day for me at the moment.
I think he's had some Scotch porridge oats with a little bit of honey Scotch liqueur on there as well. He's running the Jim Clark livery and he's driving like him at the moment as well. Absolutely superb stuff there from Roman Pawlowski. Now, Chris Murakami on the recovery drive now after being given the COVID test treatment. It's been a difficult day, all told, really, for Chris in the number 5 machine. We've seen him run a little bit further up the pack than this in the past in this season. But over a 12-round season with different track every week, Ryan, there's always going to be 1 or 2 bogey tracks in there for any driver.
It looks like Topi Cortinemi's got by Rob Olenek as well, so I don't know if Rob made a mistake or not, but Topi Cortinemi he was waiting in the wings there, just watching what Rob was doing, and he took the chance rather, and regained 2nd place.
Well, this has massive championship implications, really. Rob Olenek really needs to score absolutely the maximum points that he can. Mick Claridge is now 8 seconds up the road, so he's gone. But this 2nd position is really important to Rob Olenek's title fight. And Topi Cortinemi is a bit of a spoiler there. Topi Cortinemi doing Mick Claridge, our championship leader, a little bit of a favour right now as they pass by one of the lap cars. So, can Rob Olenek do anything about it to stop Cortinemi here? But it seems to me, Ryan, that Cortinemi, now that he's in a bit of clear space, he's really starting to lay down the law.
He is, and I think I'm just watching Rob's on board now, and he seems to be struggling a lot more than usual. He just doesn't seem to be as comfortable, and I think Mick Claridge might be paying Cortinemi after the race with a little bit of a finished vodka, if you like.
Or he could buy him a Scotch.
Possibly.
That is the gift of Scotch, yeah, or a double Scotch even better than that. Oh goodness, you're absolutely spot on there, Ryan. Rob Olenek is really struggling now. He's not able to hang on to the pace of Topi Cortinemi, and it looks like that car is starting to become a bit of a handful. And of course the cars evolve, so although it's a relatively short race, 20 laps here, but of course these cars, this engine efficiency was not really a factor at this point with this Cosworth DFV when it was first built. And you know, the cars, they burn so much fuel through each lap that the car does evolve a lot over the race, and maybe Rob just not quite got the car feeling so nice for this last portion.
Yeah, as it looks like Rob Colin's had an issue as well coming into the pits, and it looks like he comes into the pits and he's fine, so I think it might have happened on the track.
He's going in to wash his overalls. He's washed the colour out of them. So, back to the action here in the Grand Prix Legends series, and interesting, there you go. Lumley coming out of pit lane, having taken repairs, and here comes Mick Claridge in first in the championship, P1, number 1 board. However more you want, Mick Claridge has been the absolute demon in this championship here this season. Of course, a stalwart, a legend of this particular series. But Ryan, you've commentated on the series for far longer than I have, but this seems that even by Mick standard, this seems like a vintage season you've put together.
Yeah, it's just pretty much. It's kind of, I would say I'm surprised, but Mick Claridge is just pretty much say this is what you expect from him. As the battle for 14th is still going on at the moment between Claviso, Risto, Marikami, and McDonald. So these guys have pretty much been together for most of the race so far. And Chris Marikami, he's just basically trying to recover and trying to gain as many positions back as possible.
And of course, the person that's right ahead, the car right ahead of Chris Murakami, is the 22 of Risto, and that was who knocked him off at Luffield. So Chris will be, he will have a score to settle here in the number 5 car. Will he do it clean? He will certainly try to. Will he make an attempt? You can almost guarantee it. So, oh goodness me, Chris really trying hard there through Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell, and Lewis Hamilton, a driver who's truly mastered this Silverstone circuit. He says, forget Eau Rouge, forget Radion. He says it's all about Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell. He says that is the section. Now, Chris Murakami has got a lot of damage. He's lost his nose cone. Now, that's new damage there for Chris Murakami. That wasn't there after his last incident.
Yeah, I was just about to bring it up as well. I did spot he's got a bit of nose damage, so I don't know if he maybe ran into the back of someone. But at the moment, he's just trying to recover and get as many positions back as possible. But he's got a run on Risto, and we'll try and make a move. It'll be a bit risky if he does, but I think you know what, Chris.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is going to get loud. We're going to have an on-board here, people, with Risto. He's in the defensive line, and oh, dearie me, that'll give you nightmares. Jeepers creepers. Pekka Risto, that was an abrupt end to his race, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't like to pour some blame on drivers, but I think Chris Marikami was sticking his nose in where it was basically not wanted.
Yep, I have to agree with you. Yep, and also have to agree with you on the point where it's best not to be an amateur steward as a commentator if you can help it. Absolutely. But yeah, that was an abrupt end. I wouldn't say it was intentional. I think that would be very, very unlikely in this particular series. But yeah, certainly a little bit of a clumsy one there, we could say. So, brilliant battle here between Topi Kortenemi and Rob Olenek, and this really matters. Rob Olenek fighting what seems like a very, very loose and unruly race car right now. Topi Kortenemi, on the other hand, looks like he's driving on rails in that, another of my favourite beverages. That's like a red wine colour. That's very, very nice. Maybe he's got a sponsorship deal with UB40, right?
Yeah, I see what you've done there. That was a good one. But yeah, UB40, one of my favourite music bands. But is come through Magic Connections now, and I think Rob Olenek has finally got his head together and is back in the groove, as we've got a back marker up ahead that we've got to negotiate. And Rob Olenek has got a fantastic run, but I don't think he's going to be close enough, unfortunately.
Oh, here's an opportunity. Always every lap car, there's always a little bit of an opportunity to pull an ambush. It's 2 to go. It'll be 1 to go when we come over the stripe here at Silverstone. Through the chicane at Club, and Rob Olenek, I'm pretty sure he'll be aware of how important this is to get these points in the bag for the championship. Rob always very good about coming in to have a chat with us here on the Global Sim Racing channel, so hopefully after the race we'll get a chat with Rob and see how he was feeling in the end of this race. And really, goodness me, I feel like he's trying, Ryan.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's giving it. He's giving everything. The leader, Mick Claridge, is coming up to start the final lap now, and yeah, it's pretty much been a commanding drive from Mick once. Not entirely commanding, but He's kept his crew were under pressure, but the battle for second place is still going on between Cortinemi and Rob Olenek.
So, white flag is in the air here at Silverstone. Final lap, the final minute and 40 seconds or so for these drivers. It's Cortinemi versus Olenek for the runners-up spot, and vital championship points. Is a really close battle between Olenek and Claridge in this championship. Claridge just ahead right now, so Rob Olenek really needs to try and limit the damage here as best as he possibly can. But Cortinemi is not going to let him have it easy. Absolutely not. In fact, really looking like he has the advantage here of about 5 car lengths or so. Olenek going super late on the brakes. Look at that, Ryan. Brilliant camera angle from Dougie Beard and our producer Sean Ambrose. I mean, he must have picked up about 4 car lengths there on the brakes.
Yeah, that's fine with Rob Olenek as well. He's so good on the brakes. We saw that at Pal Island, I think it was. He's so good riding on board with Rob now as well, and trying to carry as much speed as possible to get the run on Cortinemi, but again, he's just not close enough.
I wonder if he's got some duck Heusenbelt, duck sauce Heusenbelt pedals there as well. Now a little bit of connection issue for Topi Cortinemi. This is really not good timing at all for any of the drivers. We come round into Brooklands. Our leader Mick Claridge will be taking the checkered flag. There he goes then. Mick Claridge is your winner here at Silverstone in the Grand Prix Legend Series. He flicks and slides. Now it's a drag race to the line. Rob Olenek's got up into the inside. Cortinemi closes the door, shuts it in Olenek's face, and gets the second spot. Olenek, hey, was he going to stick a landing? Flip, yeah, there you go. Third place there for Olenek. Still a good result nonetheless. Now we've got Andre Schumacher, Phil Tyler here flicking about looking for this 4th spot, and it's going to be Schumacher. Tyler will have to settle for 5th, but given that contact earlier on, he'll be glad with that, I'm sure.
Yep, the battle for 9th place between Chris Engel and Glenn Dillon is still going on at the moment, coming around the final few corners. And in the battle as well as Terry Wirth as they're coming round the start finish line now, and it looks like Chris Engel is going to hold on from 9th with Holden 10th and Wirth 11th.
Now here is our very own Donald Peake in the number 30 car. Now, Ryan, we've always got to say nice things to Don because he signs the checks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look at that racing line from Don Peake there. Absolutely majestic. There he goes, and hard on the brakes. I've never seen anyone braking later into that one. Through he goes, using all the room on the road.
But I think he's not going to be under attack. He's got pretty much just enough of a gap to hold on to that position. But yeah, I don't want to say anything bad because he'll withdraw my paycheck.
Definitely not. And look at that, silky smooth. Look at that. I mean, this is not. Do not adjust your television sets, folks. This is not an onboard with Jim Clark. It's an onboard with Donald Peake. There you go. Top 16 for Don. Let's take it to the break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We will be right back with official results and driver interviews. Do not go anywhere. welcome back to Silverstone in the beautiful Northamptonshire, where we have been treated to a demolition job, really, from Mick Claridge, winning by over 10 seconds here in the 8th round of the Grand Prix Legends Series. Topi Kortenemi edges out Rob Olenek for second place in what could be a pivotal moment in this year's championship. Andrew Schumacher was 4th, followed by Bill Tyler in 5th, who recovered from an earlier accident, so a good finish for Bill. Antonio Rees was 6th, followed by Roman Pawlowski, very much the double Scotch driver of the day, coming through from 33rd on the grid to 7th. Mighty impressive. Gary Teal was 8th, Chris Hengler was 9th, and Gwendolyn Old rounding out the top 10.
Finishing 11th was Terry Ware for Manuel Pereira, finishing in 12th after starting in 34th, so a great result for him as well, starting not far back. And then 13th was Kenneth Carlson with Hideki Kagisto at 14th. 15th was Will McDonald with 16th going to Donald Peake. 17th was Matthew Maudsley. 18th was Randy Hoff. And 19th was Michael Grindinger. And rounding out the 20 was Eugenio Massa.
Finishing 21st today was Chris Murakami after a pretty eventful day out there at Silverstone. Andres Bruno was 22nd, followed by Robert Plumley, Andrew Eng, Roland Wallbank, Herbert Prince, John Van Dorn, Gary Anderson, John Olsen, and Jeff Mortimer.
Yep, and finishing 31st was Robert Reynolds. 32nd was Pekka Risto, who unfortunately retired from the race. And then the rest of the retirements are on your screen. Those were Ulrich Trengrade, Dave Cohen, Philip Euchart, Dave Price, Yanni Lehman, and Skip Carey. So joining us in the commentary box right now here on the Global Sim Racing channel is our winner, Mick Claridge. Mick, it's 100% record so far in this series. What's the secret been this season?
Well, it was by the skin of my teeth today, wasn't it? Just have to say, first of all, I thought that was going to be a lot easier because Uwe hasn't shown his face in practice or wherever, all week, and then just turns up 20 minutes before the race and he's the fastest car on the grid, in race trim. So, yeah, that was tough until I saw him spinning off into the distance behind me in the mirror. So it's honestly, Peter, it's just putting in as many laps as you can. It really is because... I'm one of the guys that can't jump in any car and just be quick straight away. And even this car, I can't do it every week. You'll see that next week, by the way. So it really is just putting in seat time. I'm putting a hell of a lot of time in this car.
Well, that is nice to hear that it's nothing, no substitute for elbow grease. That's what I like. I mean, today we were on the old Silverstone layout, the pre-2010. It's quite divisive. Some people prefer the old layout, some people prefer the new one. Now, what's your thoughts on this version of Silverstone?
No, I like the old layout because, you'll probably find that a lot of the guys in this series like the old layout. The car ran here, not on this layout really, but as close as we can get to it. So yeah, like we always like to run the historic layout. So yeah, I like the this car likes big sweeping turns. Like you see out the back of the grid. Just before the bridge. That sort of stuff. That's where this car shines. You don't want to see it going around silly Mickey Mouse corners. It just needs to open up and get the rear end out and get around these fast sweepers. You
do the full Jim Clark impression.
I don't know about that, mate.
Well, it was certainly a Jim Clark-esque drive today. Mick, before we let you go to go and enjoy another win here in the Grand Prix Legends Series and the championship lead as well, who would you like to say hello to here on the Global Sim Racing channel?
One guy who's helped me a lot over the last few days, Mr. Malcolm Johnson. I don't know if he's watching live or he might watch it later, but yeah, thanks to him for all he's done. That guy deserves a hell of a lot of thanks. He does a hell of a lot of good stuff for homeless people in England and stuff. If you met him, you wouldn't be surprised to hear me saying thanks, even though he doesn't really follow racing that much. So yeah, all the stuff goes to him this week. And yeah, I have to mention the McKenzie brothers. Never mess with them, mate. I messed with them last week because I didn't mention them. So I'm going to say it again. Never mess with the McKenzie brothers.
That sounds like sound advice to me, Mick. Mick, thank you so much for coming in to chat to us again, and we'll speak again very soon.
Yeah, cheers, Pete. See you guys.
So that was our race winner, Mick Claridge. We now have Topi Kortenemi joining us in the box, and he is with Ryan Walker.
Yep, Topi finishing in second place after a great battle with Rob Olenek for most of that race. And Topi, that looked like a great battle, and it looked like once you got by Rob, it looked like you were going to pull away, but Rob seemed to get it together towards the end and put you under some huge pressure.
Yeah, that's true. I tried to put my very best lap times, and I did. I checked the lap times, but Rob was so fast. I thought he would be slower. I saw his qualification time was 39.1, but he had a very good pace. I just tried to drive defensive lines in the turn after the bridge. I think it's turn 10 or 11, I think. And that last turn battle got me sweating a little. Yeah,
I think after Long Beach last week, I thought anyway you would be up there challenging Mick. Did you think you could be up there challenging for the win, or did Mick just have that edge when it came to race pace?
Well, I think make a little mistake coming to back straight on lap 1, and I struggled to have confidence with the car, so I couldn't match Mick's pace after that.
And that battle with Rob was great as well. And like I say, but it just seemed to be you got it together. But still, second place is a great result. And what's your aims looking ahead to the rest of the season? Do you think you can finish in the top 3, or is it just take the approach of just take it as it comes?
I think I'll try to beat Uwe in the overall championship. I don't know what happened to him in this race. Did he crash? I just noticed I was second somewhere in the end of the race.
Ove was battling Mick for the lead, and unfortunately he blew his engine and spun out of the race. So that basically handed you second place, but still a great result. And then
I'm happy with that. It's my first podium in this series, so I'm pleased with that.
I'm looking ahead to Okayama next week. Is it a track that you've got much experience around with this car, or anything in general on iRacing?
I have never driven that track. I have no idea. Where is it?
It's Japan.
Okay. Well, I'll start practicing.
So, and before we let you go, Topi, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or any thank yous to?
I think Andrew was surprisingly fast this week, but I don't know. I would have hoped I've battled him in the race, but I think he was somewhere in the 4th, 5th.
Yeah, he was, let me have a quick look, he was in 4th.
Okay, thank you.
Again, excuse me, as that was Topi Kortenemi, second place finisher, joining us, and up next, Peter rather, my bad, you've got Rob Olenek, who finished in 3rd.
We do indeed. Rob, welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel commentary box. That was a tough old race there. Tell us about it from your perspective.
It was a really fun race. I'm glad to have another guy in the 49 that was my first time kind of having a battle with Topi, and great first impression. I think it's going to be a lot more fun ones in the future. He was very clean racer, predictable, and it's not often, the first time you're battling with someone like that you can build trust that quickly. So it ended up being a lot of fun. It was a tough week for me. I had a ton of work to do, and I didn't even get on until yesterday. So the race, I honestly was hoping not to have to be that close to people today, because I was a bit erratic. I don't know if you guys saw much, but I was making mistakes all over the place. I felt like if I had put in the time this week, I could have had really good pace, because I could have great pace in sections, but then just totally screw up and make mental errors. It was a tough mental race just to try and keep control of the car. I love this track. This is probably one of my favorite tracks in the 49. Camel, it's a great track too. It's just such a it's like it feels like you're going fast on this track compared to other ones. It's a lot of long sweepers and stuff like that. It feels like it's perfect for this car. If it was like this, but even longer, would be great.
Yeah, it does have a lovely flow to it, doesn't it? Well, especially in this car. Funny enough, Mick mentioned that in his interview a moment ago, Rob. It's interesting you make mention about, the odd little mistake here and there. I mean, the car seemed to us on the broadcast in the latter part of the race seemed to become a little bit more of a handful later in the race. I mean, tell us about how the car developed over the race, or how your feeling with the car developed over the race.
It was more of me, I would say. I think it was in the beginning. I got lucky to get by Andre early, and then kind of being behind someone was kind of like a little confidence inspiring to drive. It's always easier to follow. And then when I ended up getting by Topi, then it was now me having to drive my lines on my own, and that was harder. So I was making little mistakes there. And then it was a battle, and I didn't have enough laps. So, just a little too much brake here, miss your marker by a tiny bit here, and all of a sudden you're having to gain control of the car again. You're not. I was driving with a mix of a lot of confidence. Like I thought I could get the move done. Because it felt like Topi was being really conservative in some spots, and it might have given me opportunity. But then there was, other times like I couldn't get the set on throttle this week to feel like good. Like I was driving it at some points with like an eggshell, like on my throttle pedal. It was tough, but I don't know, maybe some more time, and I could have got that a little better, but I don't know. It was still a ton of fun. Like I'm happy with like third. I'm happy with like as long as I have a great battle. It's almost always just more fun than like when Mick and Uwe. I think I was in second at this point, and I saw one of them go off at the end of the straight. I was like, oh, let's see if that's Mick off. Yay, this is gonna help maybe with some points possibly. But if Uwe has the lead, Uwe, he's a great driver in a battle, but he's not going to put in his best laps when he's on his own up there. So it was like there's even a chance of a win. But when it was Uwe off, it was kind of bummed. Not anything against Mick, but it just would have made the potential at the end of the race a little better. And Mick, what he did, is just gonna take off and get the win, almost pretty much like normal.
Well, Rob, it was always fun to chat. Great job on another podium today, and looking forward to seeing you guys battling again at Okayama next week.
Okay, all right, thanks guys, see you later.
So that is about all we have time for here on the Global Sim Racing channel. A huge thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, and they're listed here on your screen. An additional thank you goes to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. A big thank you goes to the other half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker, our producer Sean Ambrose, and Dougie Beard for the excellent cameras on today's broadcast. If you'd like to find out more about us here on the Global Sim Racing channel, including upcoming races and special announcements, you can find that information at globalsimracingchannel.com or on our social media channels, Twitter, Facebook or Instagram. You can even represent GSRC at the track by getting a hold of some GSRC merchandise, and you can find the whole range at gsrc.storeenvy.com. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well, so you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.